setup and teardown process is often seen as the not so fun part of RVing.
No!
But it doesn't have to be. In fact, Mark has made a simple trick that actually makes it enjoyable. That said, the order of steps really matters, which is why we've created a towable RV setup checklist. You can download it at keepyourdaydream.com/setup. Our last setup video is from 2018, and it reached over 1 million views. And we still get emails every week that say, "We just got our RV!" So updating this video has been on our list for a while. But there's a reason we chose to do it in this site.
So we pulled into this long pull-through site. And nothing was wrong with the site, nothing was wrong with the campground. But it was just off in every way. It was like a little too far left to right and a little too far front to back. And where I had to position the rig in the site, it was further away from like the sewer connections and the shore power. And I thought, what a great opportunity to use this setup to update our towable RV setup video with a checklist, because instead of the conditions all being perfect, which they usually are when you do a video like this, all the conditions were just a little wonky. You see, I knew that was going to happen because of how far the RV was angled down. I knew that when it popped off, it was going to do that. That's why I used the X-chock over here, because I couldn't properly chock. And again, that's for stabilization, that's not a chock. In fact, the instructions say you shouldn't even do this and then disconnect up and down, but I do when I'm in this situation. If I thought about it for just 5 more seconds, I would have used these for this site, because this kind of provides a little bit of a chock because of the way that they're designed, and it would have allowed me to go up just a little bit further. But as you can tell, I probably could have gone up a little bit further if I was just squared on them. But that's where I use these. And I probably only use these under these circumstances, but they sure come in handy. 3 things to check before you chock. And this is a term I came up with several years ago, because when it comes to towable RVs, when you pull into a site, one of the things you need to check is, can you reach shore power? Can you reach the services on that site? Your sewer hose, your water, and your power. Because if you get in a hurry and you just disconnect the rig, and then you get to the part where you have to go set up your power cable and you don't reach, now you have to reconnect your tow vehicle just to move 2 or 3 feet. It's kind of a pain. Bonus, this is a good time to actually check to make sure your pedestal is wired properly. If you have a surge protector, it'll give you the light indicators to make sure that it's wired up correctly. There's nothing more frustrating than getting completely set up to find out that your pedestal doesn't work, and then you have to call the office and move sites completely. Okay, the second thing to check.
Kind of close to this tree. Do you think our awning will clear?
Don't worry about that.
Will your slides clear of any obstacles of trees? How about your awning? Is it going to reach? That's another thing you might have to move your rig for if you're going to be there for a long period of time. And then the third thing to do is level left to right before you chock. I'm able to record this video because I put myself in a situation where I wasn't blocking traffic. And that brings me to such an important point. Slow is pro. Many times when we've had an issue or we've broken something or there's been a mishap, luckily no injuries, but that could happen, it's because I think I'm in a hurry. There's just something about the setup process or the teardown process or even getting there where we just instinctively think that we're in a hurry, that the faster we do it, the better it's gonna be. Like when Trish and I were boating a lot, at the end of the day, we'd have friends with us, and we'd pull up to the marina, and at the time we kept our boat at the marina, and everyone would say, okay, let's all chip in and let's just see how fast we can knock this out. Which is nice. These are our friends trying to be helpful, and they're trying to like speed up the teardown process. And what would end up happening is inevitably someone would slip. I would leave my wallet in the glove box, and I'd have to drive all the way back to the lake the next day to get my wallet. And I'm thinking, how did that happen? It's like, oh, that's right, because we were all rushing because it was going to be better if we did it fast. And what I learned is that if I actually cracked open, if I just sent everybody home and just said, hey, that was a fun day, don't worry, I got it, you sure? Yeah, I got it. And I crack open a beer and I turned on the radio, Caleb and I would actually hang back and we would clean everything up and wipe the boat down, fold the towels, throw away the trash, get everything organized, and it was actually enjoyable. And so I've kind of carried the same philosophy over to RVing, where I actually enjoy the setup process and I enjoy the teardown process if I'm not in a hurry. And the moment I'm in a hurry, it's just no longer fun. And that's when things break. So, slow is pro. Don't believe you're in a hurry. Take your time. Follow a checklist. If you don't have a checklist, follow a sequence. All right, so now that we've leveled left to right, now I need to level front to back. And then once I get that done, then I'll put the stabilizers down. So I use this light level. This is actually a lot of fun.
What?
I mean, I saw it from the street. I saw it from the street.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's just purely fun. It's not even as effective as a regular level. There are more effective levels. But the fun factor on this is a 10. But because we have an Airstream and I can actually see it on the counter from here, it's kind of fun because I can actually see when I'm level just from looking. There, I'm level. That's kind of cool. So there's a lot of options when it comes to leveling. Right now I'm having fun with my light level. Before I just used a regular level. For a long time I used the Level Mate Pro, and I still use it from time to time. Mainly the Level Mate Pro comes in really handy when we're gonna dry camp somewhere and I don't want to disconnect from the RV, and I'm camping out in a field or somewhere where I just have to find a level spot to put it in park. Even if it's an RV park and I'm gonna stay connected, I can go through a pull-through site and I can just kind of drive along until the rig is level, put it in park, and I know I'm done. By the way, this is the Level Mate Pro Plus. The Plus means that it can connect to an Apple Watch. I don't have an Apple Watch, but the reason that I got the Plus is because it's actually powered through the USB cord like this, and so you don't have to change the batteries and it can always stay on. Now there's one order of event that we use in the summertime because we have a lithium battery bank that can run the air conditioning unit or units. This can actually run both. Is when it's like over 90 degrees, when I'm checking into an RV park, Trish will go in the back and she'll turn on the air conditioning on battery. It's only going to be 20 minutes, right? By the time I check in and get all the paperwork, because you get so much paperwork, and then you get back in the truck and then you drive to your site and you pull in, you go through the setup, and then by the time I get my power cable and plug in, that can sometimes be 15 minutes to even up to a half hour. And if it's really hot, it means by the time that we actually have to get into the RV, it's already cool. So if you do have a battery bank that can run AC, that's a nice thing to put on your checklist in the summer months.
Oh, it goes to a torque specification and then it stops?
That's exactly what I wanted to share with people.
That's crazy. Yeah, the left one went down.
Yeah.
And then it stopped once it hit its torque maximum.
But a lot of people don't know that, and so when only one side goes, they just stop cranking.
Oh wow.
They don't know that it will naturally level out.
You never stop cranking.
You never stop cranking. Can you put the backs down for me?
With this?
Yeah. That's good. The reason I want to go get my leveling blocks is I like my stabilizers to be kind of out like this. I don't like them to be up like this. I like them to be at a normal thing because they work better like that. And so if I had extra leveling blocks, I would have used 2, maybe 3 on each side just to make it so they didn't have to reach so far. Not the end of the world, and it's certainly something. What have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 10. I'm not going to carry more of those for these very rare situations, but that's what I was getting at. Caleb already mentioned that there's a thumb lock here. So on many RVs, these are the little locks that have the key that says like CH105 or C105 on them. I popped that off. Got these thumb locks. You kind of have to, well, I'll link to the video right here, but you're gonna have to kind of modify the inside latch so that it works. But I did it to this. I did it to our freshwater fill right here, and I did it to the shower because I was just tired of getting the key for those.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's see it.
And it's orange. I love the orange.
I know you do.
Feels like I'm at the marina.
I know.
Okay.
And then you're good. And then does it reach?
Of course it reaches.
Well, I had to pull it further back than I wanted to. You turned it off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's 30 amp. You know what? Before you flip on the power, can you lower the multi-controller to 29 amps?
Oh yeah. So you just twist the knob?
Yeah, and just lower it to 29.
And this light only turns on when you actually have 50 amps.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, hey, there's some other stuff you haven't seen.
Really?
Oh. Isn't that easy?
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now.
Watch this.
No, you pull it down.
Oh, you gotta do it for going into?
Done. That's it. Cool.
New hose?
New hose.
Wow.
So now,
What
use
Okay.
this quick disconnect to plug to the other side of the bag.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, use this quick disconnect. Look at this.
Oh, he made the lid a disconnect.
Well, that was Sean at Aircrafters. He did that.
This is
pretty.
smart.
That's pretty clever. I know.
Yeah, because then you don't have to take this off.
Exactly.
Okay. But this is different, is it not?
It's just a little different. Boom. Now turn on the water. There will be no leaks, I guarantee you.
You know what's crazy too? I didn't even make this thread very tight,
I know.
and it's not
I know.
leaking.
Exactly. You got to admit, that's pretty cool.
Water is probably one of the more annoying things you have to hook up.
Exactly.
Like sewer's actually not that bad.
Oh, well, great.
Speaking of sewer, are you back to using gloves?
I'm back to using gloves because my big gloves were getting wet and nasty.
I hate it, yeah.
Yeah, right there, orange one. Now, we might need
Been around for a while.
we might need the extender.
You know, they say you can hear the ocean in this.
That's not the ocean.
Oh yeah, it'll work.
You think it'll reach?
It'll reach.
I don't think it's gonna reach.
Hello?
I don't always use these,
But
but in this situation, I want to keep the I want to keep it going downhill. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
I turn on the AC, that's cool.
Yeah, that's all cool.
Okay, can I turn on both?
Technically, we're on 30 amp, so we could, with our battery system, with our batteries being at 10%, maybe we should charge them up before we start having a supplement.
Okay, all right. Then Caleb probably needs to pay attention to his pizza because I've got like a fireplace going on here. Okay, and the dog and I are both like,
All right.
All right.
Do the honors?
No, let's not worry about it.
Okay.
We're not that full. I like to be full when I pull.
Looks. You really.
I have two phrases. A little gray keeps the drama away, and I like to be full before I pull. I mentioned in the beginning of this video that the order of steps matters. It doesn't matter to all of them, but it does matter on a few of them. Like, for instance, not chocking before you disconnect could be, frankly, catastrophic if you were on a big enough slope where your RV would just start running away from you. Or if it was toward your rig, it would, once you just come off that ball, the travel trailer would just go ram into your back bumper of your tow vehicle. So obviously that step really matters. There are other things that are important, like checking for obstacles before you deploy your slides.
we've been underway before and something has opened like this. And remember, the slide is this way. A camera has dropped out, fallen here, and fallen on the ground and gotten stuck inside of here. So I kind of give it a once over and just make sure there's nothing that has possibly gone over the counter and gotten stuck back there, or that one of these isn't open, something like that.
Sure.
So the same thing is true, even more so for this slide when it goes out, because these drawers tend to open and you can get one stuck in between the slide and the wall and it will just break it right off.
Another example of where order matters, plugging into shore power before you operate your slides, because they really need all the power from 30 or 50 amp so that the motor can properly bring that slide out. It's not underpowered so that it would, like, you know, have an issue with the track or something like that. Of course, unless you have like a battery bank. Those are just a few examples of where the order of steps can make a difference. And I mentioned about the checklist that we have on keepyourdaydream.com/setup. Some people have actually printed it and laminated it and hung it up by their door in their RV. You can also just take a screenshot of it and keep it on your phone.
But it is important, though, to update the checklist specific to your RV. And there's a little section at the bottom. Your RV is unique, and you know it over time. And you're like, geez, it would really be beneficial if I did this step before this, and so you can make note of that. You know, a lot of the steps is just preference. I choose to connect the sewer hose very last. That way I can wash my hands and I'm done with the setup process. On that note, if I'm only going to be in a site for 1 or 2 nights and we're not planning on taking long showers, I'm not going to connect my sewer hose at all, because I might as well just do it on the way out. That way I put my gloves on, connect the hose, dump the black, dump the gray, put the hose away. I've only touched the sewer hose once. But if I know if I know we're going to take long showers, or we're going to be, you know, we have a lot of dishes, we're going to be there for a few nights, I'll go ahead and set it up last. So most of the items on the list, completely preference to how you want to do it. Just make note of the few items that step 1 really does need to happen before step 2. How's it going here?
It's going terrific.
Yeah? Nice. These awnings right here, they can handle a lot of wind. I've actually have only pulled them in only a couple times in the last year ever. But because I'm in Illinois to get my awning fixed, that wasn't wind, it was rain, but still, I'm not taking any chances. Now let's just chat about some essential setup gear. I keep this little packing cube here with all the adapters I need. 30 to 50, 50 to 30, 50 to 110, like back before I had the smart plug and, you know, it was a traditional RV thing like this. This went directly from that to a regular extension cord, 110. That way, you know, sometimes you pull up into an RV park and they just don't have, let's say the 50 side isn't working and it's the last site, so you have to go 30. Like today, I didn't even realize I booked a 30 amp site, but I did, so I used that dog bone. Having all the electrical adapters is important, because if you RV long enough, you will definitely run into that situation. And then extensions are important. So this is my 50 amp extension. I think this is 15 feet. I don't use it very much, but boy, when you need it, you need it. Now this right here is a 30 amp extension that came with the Furman generator. And the reason I still travel with it is because, you know, you just never know if you're in a situation where, you know, you're just way super far away from a pedestal, and then I can actually just run the 30. And if I'm at 30, you know, then you have to manage the power in your RV if you have 2 ACs, but you know, we can make it work. And then of course, an extension cord. And I got a bunch of these because, you know, you could be at a harvest host, need some power, find out that maybe the host is cool with you running some power, but you're 200 feet away or something. I could probably use all this to make that work. A couple essential gear stuff, like a 4-way wrench, obviously super important. Lug nuts on a trailer are different than lug nuts on your truck. So if you have a flat tire, you might not have the proper wrench to get those lug nuts off. And if you have a double axle towable RV, then this trailer aid works great because you don't need a jack. You can roll up on it and get the other tire up off the ground so you can change it. So it doesn't take up much space, super handy to have in a pinch. Now I gotta put all this away. Oh yeah. See, gotta have that. Walbernized, this is the stuff I normally use. What I don't normally have is warm water. I mean, who would have thought? Warm water to wash your RV? And let me tell you something, it needs it bad. We're getting that awning put on tomorrow, and I just couldn't stand the thought of showing up with this kind of grime.
Mark gives the rig a much needed bath before we roll into Zip D, where we're getting a brand new awning and taking you behind the scenes for a factory tour to see just how these iconic awnings are made.
Both of these carts go back and forth between us and Airstream twice a week.
Then, after a quick stop in Michigan for a round of euchre, we head to Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And trust us, you won't want to miss it. Catch you next Sunday.
Huh? Oh, jeez. Oh, I don't know why Jeez. Well, you're doing laundry right now, right? Take it off. Ow! Jeez! Ow! It's a double whammy.